like too dark in here, but it is what it is. Hello. Hello, people. Okay, so this is a very special What's Up Ocala because it is live. Um, so whether you know this or not, every Monday, I go ahead and come into our little booth here, sound booth here, and I record What's Up Ocala. And it takes me about half an hour to do it. I normally do it after everybody has gone for the day because otherwise they are too loud and very distracting. So, because this is our office, so it's just absolute mayhem in here. So yeah, this is where I actually do the recording and everything. And every Monday night, it takes me a few hours to upload What's Up Ocala onto YouTube, depending on how cranky the internet is going. So normally I'll leave here around 8:30, and then I'll go home and I go ahead and upload from there, put on any tags or anything like that, do the little thumbnail and all that fun stuff. And that's just my Monday night, and it has been for quite some time. But I was actually going back. I used to do live on Friday night, and I really miss it. I really miss talking to you guys and actually having the back and forth. So I kept going, man, I really want to do that, but it's so hard because Friday nights and Saturday nights, we normally do a lot of family stuff, or there will be events and stuff that we are doing. So it's really hard to set that time to do it. I'm like, man, how am I going to fix this? It finally occurred to me. Why don't I just do the Monday What's Up Ocala live? And then I'm going to go over my basic information that I normally do. And you guys can actually talk back and forth and talk about what's actually going on and actually ask questions. So we'll see how this goes. Please let me know if you like this or not. I'm sorry the lighting is a little weird. If you know what I was dealing with right now. We had the chili cook-off on Saturday, and it was amazing. But some of my agents ransacked the media room because they needed something like stands to hold up the selfie booth thing. Anyway, I don't know, but now somehow I've looked all over the stands and I don't have stands for my lights. So this one's just kind of hanging off of a microphone I moved out. It's a mess. So hopefully I'll have figured out, but it is what it is. And so, yeah, it's a little dark in here, like not the normal, but it's okay. We're all good. All right. But definitely let me know what you guys think of me doing What's Up Ocala live because this is the first one. It may be the only one. We'll see. So, at this point, I definitely want to talk about stuff that we're, since I got you back and forth right here. I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that we have coming up. I was trying to do a series more for investors and talking to them because investors have been waiting fairly patiently for the market to come down a little bit. Investors they're not as preoccupied with the interest rates because I've seen investors, even when the interest rate was at like 3 or 4%. Oh, thanks, Jen. So even when investors had like a 3 or 4% interest rate, they didn't actually get a 3 or 4% interest rate. Most investors I know that were doing like hard money loans or something like that would do like 9%. At this point, I just talked to an investor Saturday at the chili cook-off, and he was trying to buy up as many properties as he could, and he's talking about he's doing some cash and some investing and blah blah blah. And I was like, so what rate are you looking at? He's like, oh, 15%, but I don't care. And it just kind of, I was like, whew, what? But he's right. He's like, if I can make 30% on a flip, or if I could make 30% from, having it rented out or whatever I'm doing, he's like, if I make enough money on the buy, I don't care what the interest rate is because it doesn't really matter. So it's just kind of an interesting way of looking at it. I know investors are like pouring in right now because they've been waiting and waiting so patiently for those prices to come down. And it just kind of really, for investors, it's been rough the last couple of years. They were like, hey, I have cash. Well, so did everybody else. It was just, it was brutal. So they really haven't been able to purchase too much. They've also, not been able to do like auctions and stuff like that because all of the foreclosures were just nullified, basically, or at least postponed during the C word that we will not name the time of great sadness. Um, During that time, there weren't any foreclosures coming in. And foreclosures, don't get me wrong, everybody's like, oh, we're in a recession. Okay, we're not. That's not what this is talking about. Even in a really great market, there's still going to be foreclosures. Foreclosures happen, even in a great market, um, because you have divorces, you have deaths, you have people that go into bankruptcy because of the same issues. So you're always going to have foreclosures hitting the market for various reasons. Sometimes maybe it's an addiction or something, and so they lose the house. So those happen. That's a normal part of real estate, having those foreclosures. What was odd is that we didn't have any foreclosures at all for a significant amount of time. That was bizarre. So all of those kind of got, bumped over and kind of put to the side. So they've been, basically unable to purchase foreclosures, unable to get into the market. Having cash meant less than nothing. So it was really rough on them. But we're starting to see them come back into the market now. And, cash actually means something again. And, so we're starting to see that. But there is a huge, huge difference. A lot of people think that landlords or investors are like these really high up, really rich people, and it's almost unattainable. They put them up on a pedestal. That is not true. It is totally bogus. Okay. Um, I know school teachers that own residential investment properties. School teachers. I know actually quite a few school teachers. So, I know, linemen, I know a journeyman who invested in real estate. I know quite a few people that instead of doing, investing their IRAs or 401ks or anything like that into the stock market, they actually did what's called a self-directed IRA, and they were able to purchase uh, real estate and put it into property management, and we manage it for them. That's their IRA. That's their retirement is in that. So yeah, I know some investors that they're just regular guys, like no big deal. But instead of putting money into a college fund for their child, they went ahead and started purchasing real estate just so that they could have not only money coming in that will help pay for the mortgage and will build up compound interest essentially, um, because the rent is coming in and it gets to put into basically savings either for another property so you can actually double what you have, or maintenance on the property itself depending on what they purchased and when. And then when their child is in college, they can either then use those same funds to go ahead and pay maybe a monthly amount for their college, or they can go ahead and sell the house and basically use the whole thing for college. So it's just kind of interesting. Everybody has this thing where they're like, oh, there's these rich slumlords that own like all these properties. No, no, a lot of them have purchased a home on an FHA loan, and they're just basically using it as a different way of investing. Instead of investing their 401k, they're doing it in real estate. It's just a little different. Okay. It's for people that think outside the box. For me personally, I don't even see a box. There is no box. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. It really is interesting. But I do want to answer questions in regards to investing, like how do you finance? Are there tax benefits? Absolutely. It's a fantastic tax shelter. So if you're looking for how you can actually have investment money and still not have to pay obscene amounts of taxes on that, it's a fantastic tax shelter. So you can even do something called a 1031 exchange. It sounds really complicated. It is not complicated. I guess you can make it complicated. It's 1031 exchange is just a tax code. That's just the code. That's just where it is in the tax form. And it's just basically you're going to trade one type of property for another type of property. and you're not going to pay taxes when you trade because you're not selling, you're trading. So you're selling one property and buying a different one. You didn't really sell and pocket the money, so it's not really income. You're just trading properties essentially. That's basically what a 1031 exchange is, down to a level. You can't wait for, 10 years or anything like that. It's set in months, how many months between the sales and stuff like that. So that can get a little bit complicated, but that's basically all it is you're doing a tax deferred trade. Um, and what's interesting is people can trade and trade and trade and trade for years. I know some have done it for decades. They started with just a very small, simple property, maybe a condo or something like that, and then bought a second one. And then the market changed. So they went ahead and sold those and bought in a market that they thought was up and coming. Now, that particular couple actually moved around with the properties. So they actually, wherever they thought the market was going to hit next in the United States, that's where they moved next. That was a school teacher and an office supply person. So that's just what they did. They just literally played with the real estate market. And they have done very well for themselves. So it's just kind of interesting the stuff that we think, we put these people up on some kind of pedestal, and it's really just not the case. Anybody could invest in real estate. Maybe you're not going to be able to do it today, but if you start down that path, you can. There is no question that you could do it. It's actually pretty simple to do. So I don't know. It's something to look into. Okay, just if you got some of these landlords or investors, you're like, oh, they're up on a pedestal. No, they're really not. They're really not. Go into one of the websites that I love for information purposes. Take it all with a grain of salt, the same as anything you find online. That it's called biggerpockets.com. It's a fantastic resource for people that are just trying to get their feet wet and just trying stuff out and understanding the terms and what people look for and everything. Because there's investors in there. Some are smaller investors that are just starting out like you are. Some have been doing it for a while, and they kind of give each other advice. Different real estate brokers will go in there and offer advice on different properties and different locations and different information. So it's just kind of cool to share that information. So biggerpockets.com. They also have some really cool calculators. That's actually my favorite calculator for investing is in there. So yeah, so basically what we've been up to is, of course, we've got the chili cook-off that we just did. That was intense. I'm very glad that's only once a year. We did a Hawaiian style theme. I have yet to bring home a trophy from that. I'm not bitter. I'm okay. I'm okay. But yeah, they had like 6 trophies for like, best chili, best booth, people's choice, that kind of stuff. But the fire department's got 3 out of the 6. I was like, come on, y'all. Not that I, don't love our first responders, but come on, just one trophy 1 year. Let's go. We've been doing this for way too long. This is actually the first year we did a Hawaiian theme. We had a volcano chili. It was tasted incredibly good, but it was also incredibly spicy. And then we had a sweet pineapple chili. I kid you not. It was crazy. We also had like a whole bunch of games for kids and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And that's the important thing, not the trophy, not the trophy. I have to remember that. We also had hula hooping going on, and I don't know, it was just absolute mayhem. But it's actually a really fun event. We did the last few years, we had like a Flintstones kind of caveman chili theme going, and we had a full size Flintstones car. Like we actually put 4 EMTs in there at one time, and we had 4 firemen get in it at one point. And the steering wheel turned, and yes, it did roll, but it was very heavy. So it was all made out of like wood. I mean, it was a big old thing. So we decided to try something new, and we got we got the Hawaiian theme going this year. So it was kind of fun. Kind of fun. We do have a lot of stuff going on in Ocala coming up, but let's go ahead and pop over to the MLS, and we're going to check on our numbers this week. I haven't checked the numbers so far today, so we'll check and see. Pretty much every realtor I know, they check the the numbers in the morning, see what's going, because you can kind of tell if you keep on top of the market in your area, you can not only see what has happened and what's happening now, but what's going to happen. So, I mean, not that I have like a crystal ball that broke long ago and it never really worked very well for me anyway. But but it's kind of cool, I mean, past history will show us what the future is going to be. So, history does have a tendency to repeat itself. So, looking over the statistics and everything, you guys know I love statistics. Love me some statistics. But keeping up with all of that really does help. All right. It doesn't want to let me log in. Of course, because I didn't write it all down like I normally do, and now I did a live. Okay. Oh, thank God. Okay. It let me in. I was like, log in, log in, log in. What are you doing? Oh, I should maybe work on that a little when we're doing a live. Okay. I just looked at the numbers. Okay. So, Market Watch for this week. Interesting. Market watch for this week is we had 225 houses hit the market, so it's a little bit higher than what we've seen, just a little bit. 14 price increases. Okay, that's interesting. 435 price decreases, y'all. 435. Back on the market, we had 64 sold, 199. That's been pretty much the same for months now. So sold, we had 199. Expired, we had 20. Looks like we're getting some shorter contracts. I don't know if you've noticed or not. Pending, we had 211. Temporarily off the market, we had 18, withdrawn 5, and 55 canceled. That is interesting. So we have a lot of price decreases and we have a lot of canceled. So kind of interesting how that's happening. I'm just gonna pop over real quick to these price decreases and check and see how much they're being reduced. Some of these are getting reduced by quite a bit. Let's see, this one, it's 5.13% lower, 5.04% lower, 4.03% lower. This one decreased by 23.35%. I'm thinking that was priced inaccurately. But yeah, that one got decreased by quite a bit. It was 100,000 and now it went to 80,000. So I'm thinking that's a special property right there. We'll leave that one alone. We had one at 7.69% decrease, 2.83% decrease, 8.03% decrease. So I'm going to say probably on average, just a guess by looking at this long span of numbers, it's right around 4 or 5%, barring that one that was 23%. I'm going to say that one's just a little bit odd. But an average between all of this, I would say probably 4 or 5% is what they're coming down. So if you're hoping for hundreds of thousands of dollars off on a house that is only 100, $200,000-$300,000, that's really not what we're looking at. But seeing what I'm seeing on the screen, there are several houses on here for less than $100,000, and I have not seen that in at least a couple years. So kind of interesting there. Now, keep in mind, these are anything residential. So it could be a farm, it could be, a single family home, it could be a condo. This is just residential, and it's here in Marion County only. In the last 7 days, this is what we've got. So 435 price reductions. That is intense. Right around 5%, give or take, unless it's a special circumstance. So you can see why those investors are getting excited about this. Having multiple properties that are under $100,000 really opens the road for those investors to start coming back into the market, which they were definitely kind of out of the market there for a while. All right, let's go ahead and talk about what is coming up in Ocala, what we're going to be doing in Ocala this week. I am actually going for training on Friday. I don't know if you guys know or not that I am actually in training. I'm trying to become an instructor for the Florida Realtors, which is really exciting. And then also a spokesperson for the Florida Realtors. So it's kind of intense, all of the stuff that you have to go through for your application, audition, all that fun stuff. But that's something I'm trying out. A lot of their stuff is actually in person, which is a little different for me. I'm fine with like lives and video and even the radio show that I have. That's pretty easy for me to do, but to go up on a stage in front of people will definitely be pushing my comfort zone just a little bit. So, and it definitely requires some training. They have some amazing training for that. So that is what I'm kind of working on in my copious amounts of spare time. um, all right, so I heard the Denellen duck race is actually been postponed over into January. We have 3 ducks at this point, Duckleberry Finn, Moby Duck, and the third one, we actually get to come up with a theme and we get to decorate it. It's called a modified duck. These are wooden ducks, by the way. That one we don't have a name for, I don't think yet, but I will double check. I think it might have been Charles Duckins, but I will check. I will double check on that. But yeah, really super cute. Obviously, we are all huge fans of literature over here because we have that classic theme. But yeah, everybody around here gets really in on it. They root for their duck, and they try and get votes for their duck and stuff like that. So, as we get a little closer to it and we come up with a good theme for our modified duck, I will show you the transition and show you what the duck looks like. But it's actually great. It's for charity. It's absolutely amazing. It's actually going to go. Our ducks are going towards the Habitat for Humanity of Marion County. So really great, really great charity. So they are a huge part of our community here. There is a Veterans Day 5K on Veterans Day, which is the 11th. In case you didn't know. Of course, every Saturday we have the downtown market. So, of course, we've got that going on. Brown Farms actually has an international food truck festival. Can you say yum? Like, seriously. I'm a huge fan of a good taco truck. Like, it has to be a good taco truck, though, not like a, iffy taco truck. But a really good taco truck, I will literally just stay there all day. There we go. That's where I'm going. Yeah. So International Food Truck Festival. I don't know if you were able to go. If you did not go to the World Equestrian, or excuse me, if you did not go to the Chili Cook-Off and come hang out with us, you might have gone over to the World Equestrian Center for their International Food and Wine Festival. I've heard it was absolutely amazing. I obviously was otherwise occupied with hula hoops over at the Chili Cook-Off, so I didn't make it over there. But I heard it was a really great event. Let's see, what else? Friday Foodie Fest is the every 4th Friday of the month, so that's coming up closer towards the end of the month. We also have an Apple Teens workshop over at the Appleton Museum on the 12th, and that's from 1 to 3 p.m. So that'll be on Saturday. And basically, it's a 2-hour workshop for tweens and teens where the students will use clay to shape a mug with a face. I don't know. I'm thinking it could be fun. It's only $30 if you're an Appleton member or $35 for a non-member. I bet Lexi would love that. Like, absolutely love that. Let's see. There is Blow Up 2, which is inflatable contemporary art. That's at the Appleton Museum as well. So if you're going to go over for the teens and tweens workshop, maybe go ahead and check out their inflatable art as well. And that's going on, that exhibit is going on from now until December 11th. So for a good month. Coming up, of course, we have Light Up Ocala. That's on the 19th. That is where basically the entire downtown square is all lights, a lot of lights, and it will continue on. Now, sometimes they have an ice skating rink as well. Like some years they have it and some years they don't. So I will let you know if they have an ice skating rink. How they keep it cold when it's like 90 degrees out, I have no idea. I will ask somebody this year. But that is what we've got going on so far for this week coming up in November. So a lot of fun stuff. I actually decided to do a 5K once a month for the entire year of 2023. So I want to make sure and maintain a fitness level that I've become accustomed to and have not actually been doing the last few months. Anyway, so yes, I'm actually going to do that, and we're actually going to go ahead and start. And I say we because I'm getting my daughter to go too. She wasn't really all game about it until I told her the first one is going to be a cupcake 5K, and you get a cupcake in the end, and she's just like, "Yep, I'll do that." She is my child. So there is a cupcake race on November 20th over in Hawthorne. So we're going to go and run a 5K. I will probably mostly be walking as I get myself accustomed to doing 5Ks. I haven't done a 5K in years, so this is probably going to be painful, but I've already started working on it. I did 2.5 miles this morning, mostly walking, but at least I'm out there doing it. So we will go and I will make sure and share footage of the various 5K races and the crazy antics they get into. I've looked at different 5Ks over the course of the year that are local. I don't really want to have to drive to Georgia or something. That would be crazy. So, yes, there are quite a few 5Ks available in the area. And some of them are really fun. There's one that's a foam 5K. I can't even imagine what that's going to be like, but we're going to do it. There's also a bubble run, which I've done one of those before, and that was a lot of fun. There's just all sorts of really interesting ones. My daughter is not really enthralled with the mud 5K that I found, but we'll see. So it's not just a 5K. It's not just a fun. It's you got to do something different, right? So we're gonna try some really fun stuff. If you are not in Ocala or not in this area, definitely let me know, and I will give you the info that you need. Oh, Kim here says, whoops, it left me. All right, I am interested in Derby Downs. Oh, I love Derby Downs. I'm renting in Lakeland currently. That's a trek. Yeah, Derby Downs is well kept. I really like Derby Downs a lot actually. Um, so yeah, it's these really cute condos that are horse themed. And it's actually in between a really good sized pond or small lake and a golf course, a really good golf course. So it's beautiful out there. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, I will tell you, on the other side of the golf course is basically where the Ocala National Forest and Silver Spring State Forest, all of that starts. So there is a lot of wildlife that you're going to see, including in that pond. So just a heads up on that. That doesn't mean that you have to interact with the wildlife at all. You're in your own condo, but you are going to see some wildlife out there. So just a heads up on that. As far as well-maintained, yes, I absolutely love that one. That's probably one of my favorite condo complexes in all of Marion County. Yes, there are walking trails. Mhm. You know, as far as he's asking if the homes were overpriced to begin with, and that's why all the reductions, I would have to say if it were closer towards the increases or at least balanced out as it normally is, I would say yes. Oh, you're welcome, Kim. I would say yes, absolutely, but it's not. It's not even remotely like that, and it's gotten heavier as we've gone. So these are homes that have been on the market and they're adjusting for the market, which is smart. You either have to cancel, and that's why you're seeing a lot of cancellations as well, a lot more than regular, is because of that. I'm interested in buying land. Is this a good time? It depends on what you're wanting. I mean, if you're wanting like a quarter of an acre to an acre, I would maybe wait a little longer. If you're looking for large quantity of acreage, I haven't really seen the prices change overly. Depending on how many acres you want and where they are, you can get them anywhere from 12,000 to 20,000 per acre because you're getting in bulk quantity. So it really just depends on what you're wanting. Unless you're wanting like, I don't know, there's a really prestigious, gorgeous community where they have 10-acre parcels. called Paradiso, I believe. Anyway, that one, it's a gated community. That's not going to be 12 to $20,000 per acre. That one's more like 35,000 per acre, give or take, give or take. Um, so yeah, it just depends. It really just depends on what you want, where you want it, and what you want it for. Because if you're looking for, something for industrial land versus living in it, they're a little different. Are there other 55 plus in a good area with lower HOAs? I mean, it really depends on what you're looking for as far as amenities. Basically, if you find something with lower amenities, so no swimming pool or no, then it's going to be less expensive HOA normally. Um, there are some like that, absolutely. There's a video that I did that had every single HOA in all of Marion County, all the houses anyway. I have not done it for the condo associations. I can. It's a whole nother one. But yeah, there's actually for all 55 plus communities in all of Ocala or Marion County. I did every single one of them. And I gave a basic synopsis of each one, what the amenities were as I was driving through or walking through and showing the amenities and stuff. So you can actually see and you'll hear the voiceover, the very lengthy voiceover, um, basically talking about what their range for their HOAs and what their range for their houses are, and if the houses are wood frame only, or if they're concrete block, or if it's a mixture, because that makes a difference too. The ones that I really didn't go into too much was like on top of the world, because it's depending on what area of on top of the world. Of course, they're in the video. I mean, you have to put them in there. But depending on what part of on top of the world is a completely different set of rules, completely different HOA fee. It's just so completely different. So, we put on top of the world in there, but we didn't really go into too much detail because for something like that, we really need to have a conversation. But if you like, we can still have a conversation about it and kind of go more into your needs and wants. If you don't want any amenities, there's actually a small HOA 55 plus off of 200. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what the name of it is. I don't remember. Send me an email and I'll make sure and let you know. That was in the video. Very, very low HOA fee. Is it Spruce Creek South? Might be Spruce. They have a pool there, but it's just very, very minimal. There's some over there that are like that. Yes, there are definitely 55 plus neighborhoods that are very low HOA fees. Definitely. There's one, I think it's the Fountains, that also is pretty low, because I don't think they have any amenities at all. So it really just depends on what you want. If you want it gated, ungated, pool, non-pool, walking trails close to the trail. It really just depends on what you want. If you want concrete block versus wood frame, it really just depends. But feel free to send me an email. My email is GER.ExpectMore@gmail.com. One more time, as you're scrambling for a pen. Right? It's GER, Great Expectations Realty, GER.ExpectMore@gmail.com. But yeah, send me an email. We'll talk. Because yeah, there's a lot. We actually, in order to do that video, we did a spreadsheet of each of the associations and what their amenities were and their house prices and everything. If you want, I can email you that spreadsheet. So it's literally like, for me, I love spreadsheets. I'm looking at a spreadsheet right now just for things to do in Ocala. I love a spread. I don't know why, but it just clarifies everything for me. So, I am 100% thrilled with sending out spreadsheets to the world for anything. So, feel free to just pop me an email and I'll send you any information that I have or have created. It's kind of weird. 55places.com is pretty good with their information. But for me, it was still a little sporadic and kind of all over the place. I really like a spreadsheet. So if you just want kind of a walking, my Aunt Jan is on here and she's like, spreadsheets are the best. Great. Now I know where I got it from. But yeah, if you just want kind of a broad walking tour or driving tour of all of the 55 plus communities, then that video would probably work for you. Just go onto our Great Expectations YouTube channel like you are right now, and it should be in there. It's actually, I think, one of our more popular videos, so it's actually pinned. So yeah, pretty cool. Okay, well, I guess this is it. This is my What's Up Ocala that I normally do and upload. I just watched the video. Oh, well, okay, cool. That works. That's a really long video. Congratulations for making it through. It took me a long time to make that thing. It was lengthy. I was like, this is a lot. My husband's like, nobody's ever gonna watch this whole thing, but people do. So I feel it's my job to share the information. If you guys want it, great. If you don't, it's at least out there. Thank you, Kim. Oh, good grief. There's actually a few more video series. We're doing the camping series right now, checking out some of the springs. The next one that we're going to is Silver Springs, which is right here in Ocala, and I've never even seen the campground. Is that not the saddest thing you ever heard? So next week we're actually going to be camping out there for a couple nights. So that's going to be kind of cool. It's hard to get into. It's very popular campground. So we're doing the state campgrounds with the natural springs. I was shocked with all the information that I've learned about my own area, especially out in the Ocala National Forest, because it's just so huge of an area and so sparse that I really, there's not a whole lot of information because there's not a whole lot out there, but there really is. The springs and the state parks and everything is absolutely amazing out there. So I know I did this series because I wanted to share it with you guys, but I'm getting so much out of it. And my daughter is actually learning to camp, whether she wants to or not. We went, the last one was actually Alexander Springs, and there is absolutely no electricity at all whatsoever. So that was different. I actually thought I was not as addicted to my cell phone as I most definitely am, but that was something. So it was interesting. My husband, my daughter, and I coffee in the morning without electricity. Yeah, it was interesting, but we got it figured out. We actually did really good as a family, so it was cool. It was really cool. I would highly recommend Alexander Springs as well. That was great. So yeah, just sharing those different areas, beautiful walking trails, and the springs, absolutely gorgeous. I'm just shocked by how many different levels of gorgeous is out there. So anyway, if you're not here in Ocala, please, please, please go check out cool things in your own neighborhood because there is pretty cool stuff everywhere. Yeah, there's bears. Okay, now keep in mind, Florida bears are different. You basically just yell at them like a dog and they just go away. I've never heard of somebody actually getting attacked by a bear, but I've definitely seen bear. Even in my neighborhood, I've looked in my backyard and I'm like, there's a black bear up the tree. So yeah, I mean, it's not that big a deal. We don't have grizzly, I don't think at all here. But actually what I was contemplating was actually in the pond, there are some gators. So they don't come up, but you might see one walking around the golf course. They golf around them. It's okay. It's Florida, what can you do? But yes, you will possibly see a gator. You might see a black bear, but most likely not. They come out at night and they don't really mess with anybody. Um, and the trash is all covered. So yeah, it will definitely nature. It'll be a lot of nature. You will see rabbit every day. You will see squirrels galore. You will see deer. You will see just all sorts of stuff. Basically, anything that would be out on a meadow, that's what you're going to see on that golf course. So, yeah, anyway, just figured I'd share. So yeah, if you are, there was one person that absolutely was terrified of alligators. They didn't say anything. And then they got a place out in the Ocala National Forest. They're like, I want to be out in the middle of nowhere. And then they called me like a month later and they're like, there's an alligator in the road. And I'm like, you're in the Ocala National Forest. They're probably all over the place. And they're like, well, come move it. I'm like, no, leave it alone. They let them live their life. No. Like, what? So yeah, no, I did not evict the alligator from the middle of the road. It was just stunning, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, anytime somebody moves to an area where there may be a alligator spotting or bear or something like that, I'm like, okay, if you don't nature, that might not be the place for you. You have to really nature out there, because it's pretty rural. It's right on, there's like a Walmart only a mile down the road, but it's a mile the other direction. So it's kind of crazy, right? There's a Publix, there's a Walmart, there's pizza places, there's fast food restaurants like within 1 mile, but there's also you're just at the edge of the Ocala National Forest, and it's just this huge, massive, miles and miles of space of their habitat. So because you're right on the edge, yeah, you might see some wildlife. You're gonna have to nature, but should be good. I think your name on here was Kim in nature, so I'm sure you'll be fine. You probably know what to do with a bear anyway. I would be like, go away. She's like, yeah. Okay, just have to warn you, okay? Stuff comes with a warning label now. Oh, good grief. All right, well, that is it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and take off. This has actually been a lot more fun than my normal recording and just sitting here all by my lonesome. So, let me know, put it in the comments if you enjoyed it doing it this way, and we'll just continue doing it this way going forward. But we'll see. So we'll see what you guys have to say about it. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. You guys have a great night. Bye.